Welcome to the software install video for one of the two software packages we'll need this semester. This is for XAMPP, which runs Apache, MySQL, and PHP, as well as some other technologies and scripting languages such as Perl. Once at the site, easy enough to find, apachefriends.org. I'll also have the link in the course resource site. Select your operating system, whether that be Windows, Linux, or Mac OS X. I'll select Windows, and once the download is complete, we'll start installation. Automatically starts. Okay, so I have downloaded the software. I also downloaded NetBeans, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. So starting the XAMPP install, it will ask for administrative permissions as well as times access through the local firewall. It's probably a good idea to allow it. We're not going to run these services at all times for that very reason, only when we're doing development. I'll start the install. And it takes, depending on your system, 4 to 5 minutes, maybe a little longer. You will get some notifications such as antivirus, potential conflicts. That shouldn't cause an issue. It may cause things to run a little bit more slowly, but I wouldn't turn off antivirus for this. Little warnings about administrative rights. We're going to go ahead and go through the setup wizard. You have options. You do need Apache, MySQL, and PHP. There's a file server which you could use if you like, especially if you're going to work on a local network and your develop machine somewhere else in your house. Some mail servers so we can do fake mail and whatnot. That might not be bad to have. And PHPMyAdmin is actually a nice installation that you will very much appreciate when we start working on databases. So I'm just going to leave all mine checked. I would encourage you to as well. We will set it so that nothing starts automatically on our system. We hit next. Do please keep it in the default XAMPP directory or in applications in the Mac. I hit OK. I was actually doing installs earlier, so let me pause this and clear that out so I can continue as you would see it. Okay, we're back. I deleted my XAMPP folder from an earlier install. This should now work, and it does. We don't really need to know more about Bitnami, but if you're curious, that is fine. I'm going to uncheck it, hit next, and now we're ready to start our setup. Most of the time it will just run on its own. There are a few prompts. I'll pop those back up once we hit those. Okay, so my setup is complete. I'm going to go ahead and say that I do want to start the control panel. That's where we'll handle all these services, Apache and PHP and MySQL. So I'll say finish. Right away we see that I do have some issues. Red's never good. And so some things may not start. I do see my control panel icon in the bottom right. So we're going to see this actually will not run. I'm going to do a separate shorter video to show what might happen and why. But if I hit start, my Apache did not start. That's really quite bad, and it tells me look in the forums. I'm going to show you how you can potentially fix that. My database should start. Let us see. Green's always good, and it did. That's great. But my Apache's not, and so that is an issue. I'm going to show that in a separate video, but if everything, probably for 90% of you, when you hit start, Apache should run, but I'm having what's called a port conflict. So that ends this video. Please watch the next one so I can show you what happens with configuration issues, as well as once it's a successful install, what it should look like.